Hello everyone and welcome back. This is episode 57 of our Terraria 1.2 Let's Play. I have a whole bunch of things planned for you today. As you can probably see, we're back in our usual home, but things aren't going to be that way for very long. We're actually going to be moving today. It's going to be a big day. Number one, we're going to head over to the dungeon area. We're going to go build a little shack over there so we can maybe set up a bed, and that way when we die a bunch of times, I won't feel so bad about having to run back over the whole landscape again. Number two, though, before we actually go, so actually like number zero, because this is actually before the thing I just said, I wanted to show you a couple things that I have in my inventory now that I didn't have last time when I had just fought the golem, because I've actually fought the golem about 5 more times since then. And I did it off camera because it was honestly boring, and it culminated in me going to find more battery, power source, lizard things, whatever those are. These things, the lizard power cells. So I actually burned through all but one of the ones I had. I started another world. I went and hung out there for a little while, got a bunch more, and set that all up. And in the process, I actually ended up, just by complete sheer luck, running into a world that had some mithril in it, so I collected some of that. I've still only got 47, so it's not exactly enough for like a whole set, I don't think. But it is a good start, and now I know that I have a little world that I can go visit and grab more of that. I think I'm still missing one material, though, from this list. I've got copper, tin, lead, iron, silver, tungsten, gold, platinum, demonite, crimtane, meteorite, hellstone, cobalt, mithril, orichalcum, titanium, hallowed bar, chlorophyte, and shroomite. I think that's almost all of them, right? And there's one more in the mithril cobalt region. I think it's the alternate cobalt is the thing I'm missing, but maybe there's more than that and I'm just forgetting. So, what did I get from killing the golem? Well, you can see up at the top there, I've got an unpleasant heat ray, which bestows upon it plus 5% damage and 15% knockback. It's an interesting ray of heat that it shoots. It's fairly useful, I suppose, but it also uses up kind of a lot of mana for me. And I've also got a Possessed Hatchet, which is a pretty freaking badass, like, chakram type of deal, where it basically just flies through and hits stuff and comes back really quickly. So I'm more excited about the hatchet, and I thought the heat ray was going to be the big to-do, but apparently it was the other way around. I feel like I got something else also. Did I get some kind of cosmetic stuff since the last time, too? I think I got a Christmas sword at some point, which is not going to be here. I'm just double-checking. And you're probably wondering why I'm wearing the turtle armor as well. Oh, I've got, yeah, more ugly sweaters, another candy cane pickaxe. I've got reindeer antlers. I think you've seen all of this stuff. The Kenny outfit, the Stan hat. I don't know if there's, like, a Stan vest or anything. Maybe there isn't. But regardless, that's that. And then over here, what else did I get? Oh yeah, there's the candy cane sword, in case you'd like to have a quick look at that. Looks a little bit phallic, I have to say, but, you know, it's a little stripey at the same time. Let's put that back. Pretty weak sword, to be honest, but, you know, I didn't really expect to get something super amazing out of present. I was actually pretty amazed how many things I've gotten out of presents by this point. And I still haven't combined the obsidian water walking boots with the lava charm. I'll probably do that at some point, but I don't think I'm going to do it right now. Oh, I did get this, though, a rifle scope, which is a very interesting little bit of a tool. And I got this when I went back to go get my gold after dying at the end last time. And essentially what it lets me do is I can now, I believe when I'm holding a gun, yeah, I can right-click and zoom around the screen a little bit. It doesn't take you very far around the screen, though, so I'm not sure how useful it is. But still, maybe it combines with something. I don't know. I haven't actually looked yet. So I'm just kind of excited to get something that's a little bit different, that modifies the game in a way that I wasn't really expecting. So I think that's probably about all I needed to show you there. It's been doing, yeah, it's quite a bit of stuff that I've been doing off camera, but again, it's boring stuff. You didn't really want to see it. And we're very close to making a hoverboard as well. I think we're going to do that probably by the next episode or so. So I've got a blue dungeon bed in my inventory. I've got 800 wood. And I've got the turtle armor in my social slots in case I want to switch back and forth. I've also got my ranger emblem. So if I want to do gun stuff, I can do gun stuff. If I want to do melee stuff, I can do melee stuff. And I don't know what's going to be better for the dungeon. Maybe the shroomite armor is even better, but I don't know. I feel like I have a better chance using this stuff. And I get to have the tortoise armor, which looks kind of awful with the Sims thing, the plumb bob over my head. Thank you for explaining what that was called, by the way, to the person who did. So, what is our trajectory left for this Let's Play? Today, building a little house, possibly exploring the dungeon for a few moments. Also probably going to be answering some questions off of Twitter. And then next episode, depending on what we get for drops, I might do a little bit of farming off camera before then, or I might do that also on camera, depending on if you guys want to hear me keep answering questions and such. You can feel free to leave questions in the comments, by the way, that I might answer for next episode. It's kind of useful having them all together, actually, in the comment section, or if you want to put them on my Ask FM. There's like 100 places you could talk to me on. But yeah, we're going to do that when we get enough good stuff. Whether that be a really powerful weapon or some sort of, I don't know what, I guess enough ectoplasm to make the Spectre armor, then we can navigate the slippery world of making MP items that sustain me. I don't know. We'll figure that out. At some point, we'll build the item we need to summon the Pumpkin Moon, and then we'll attempt that a couple of times. And there's all kinds of things that we're going to need to get drop-wise from that. And that's going to be a long, drawn-out process, I have a feeling. And then there's going to be the Frost Moon after that. And somewhere in there is some crafting, because there's plenty of things I still need to build. There could also be perhaps exploring another world, perhaps to go find some of the materials that I need. I was actually sort of almost planning on eventually just doing a world blindly, just jumping into it, seeing how quickly I could kill Wall of Flesh, and then determine whether or not hard mode will yield good ore. Because as I did it for the power sources from that temple, I actually managed to traverse that whole world in like under an hour. Get to hell, kill the Wall of Flesh, get the, the stuff I needed. Even hanging out in the dungeon didn't really take hardly any time, so we could certainly do an episode or two that's just like, let's see if we can find that other material. I don't know, seems like an option to me anyway. So, where are we on the map? Oh, we're actually almost to our destination. That looks like it worked out just fine. We're going to build our house, like, right in front. Oh, what is this? There's a little festive thing going on here. I love that I'm still using this spear, by the way, this mushroom spear that you could just buy from an NPC. After all this time, it's still one of the best items. And thank you for all your suggestions about weapons and where I should go and all of that stuff. I'm still going to definitely pay heed to those. But I think definitely the dungeon is where I want to be for this exact moment. Let's set up our house like right around here. Let's just chomp down some of these cacti. Doesn't have to be a big house. Doesn't have to be elaborate. Really anything fancy at all. Just need a little bit of flat ground here to get the work done. And that one we should be able to run up. Hey, look, another lens. Yeah, there's still a lot of stuff we could still build and construct and mess around with. So let's just build some walls, though, for now. Or I should say some flooring first and then some walls. Really just need to put a bed, a couple of doors, perhaps a chest or two might be nice as well. Okay. Well, let's shoot them with the ray. There you go. It doesn't seem as powerful as it looks like it should be. I mean, it doesn't do a ton of damage, but I think there's also some kind of a shadow gun or something that I'm interested in perhaps finding in the dungeon. It certainly is a pretty tricky place. So what I'm hoping we'll do is, if we're lucky, maybe I can go hang out in an edge somewhere, an edge of the dungeon where there's really just like not scary monsters behind me, and then I can try and use that as a united front up against the impediments that are still coming up from the front. The other thing is also making key molds, which is quite a process from what I hear. Those are not easy to find. They're something like, what was it, 1 in 4,000 or 1 in 10,000? I think there's just the slime staff was 1 in 10,000. Now it's dropping these mummy pants like crazy. Apparently they weren't all that rare anyway. I don't know that I necessarily need to put a background on this. I don't think enemies are going to spawn in here. If they do, I don't know that I really care. And we've got all kinds of things we're just going to end up throwing out here. Prickly pears, I mean, they're nice to have, but whatever. So let's just put our bed down, because the point is that we needed to have something that we could just click on to have a spawn point. And, oh, maybe I can't respawn here until I put the wood walls in the background. Fair enough, game. You win again. Let's make a workbench real quick. I could have just brought one with me if I knew that was a thing, but too late now. And we're going to need to build doors anyway, so I guess that's totally valid. Was a little bit ill-prepared, perhaps, but, you know, that's my own fault. And let's just cut through that. Brilliant. Oh, of course it gets in at the very last moment. There we go. It looks like they're leaving quite a bit of stuff for me on the roof there. Oh, you can just walk in anyway. Who cares? So let's just build some wood walls, as we often do. This won't take very many of them, so we should be fine. And we'll just drop those down. And we'll have a lovely little cabin in the desert. For basically just for resetting. That's the only purpose. I mean, possibly also... Oh, I didn't make enough. Possibly also for dumping loot if my chests get too full or if my inventory gets too full. I don't know how quickly I'm going to be accumulating loot here. It seems like a lot of the stuff that I'm fighting is going to be kind of like repeats of older stuff, but with different drops, so... I don't know, it'll be interesting. Get rid of the walls. Can I... Yep, there we go. Spawn point set. That's what I was after. And there's still more crap on the roof. Let's get rid of that. Brilliant. And I should have brought a chest with me, but... Oh well, too late. Alright, so we'll get into things here. Let's just run right into the dungeon. Now we're going to be a few moments away from entering each time. We don't have to worry so much about that big run and how boring that was. And when I get down to monster spawning region, then we will set up a little base camp. I wonder if I could just make a bed in the dungeon, and then I could just respawn directly next to them and farm ectoplasm for the rest of my life. What do I want to do here? Do I want to switch out? Maybe I want to have the turtle armor on now. A little bit of extra defense. It's actually not just a little. I think it's quite a bit more. It said 71 there. And do I have any other accessories? Well, just the ranger thing. Alright, fair enough. I think we're good. Seems like they don't start showing up until a little bit deeper, or maybe that's just random luck. And do they all drop ectoplasm, or is it just certain ones? Also, let's make some more torches before we get too far further, and then things get panicky. There we go. I love that I always carry a bunch of extra wood. Like, when I was in that last world, I made sure to farm that. Just get a bunch of trees done. Yeah, this is like a huge waste of my MP. I don't really like this thing. I should have just used the hatchet for that guy. And I am aware there is a dude called a paladin that I want to watch out for when I'm down here, because apparently he has a chance to drop like a hammer and a shield or something like that. Both things that I don't have currently, so both things that I'd like. Because again, goal is to pretty much get everything. Oh, what is that guy? I can't even tell what that is. It's fast, and it looks different. Bone, what is that called? Bone something. Lens? Oh, I got a hasty tabby. Is that a pet? Oh, allows the ability... Oh, tabby, like Japanese tabby, I guess. Yeah, I knew that was a strange spelling for that. Allows the ability to dash. I've never even heard of this accessory existing. I guess we should try it out. Somebody was real upset at me for... oh, yeah, that's interesting. For keeping that balloon thing after all this time. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of useful sometimes, so I leave it around. Does this actually home in on enemies, too? Oh, it totally does. Alright, this is actually a really good item, then. I'm pretty happy that I got this. I'm going to have to farm Plantera some more, though, because I'm going to need the keys anyway. And I hear that Plantera drops, like, a really good thing called the Axe. So, all stuff that I'm going to have to check out for. So, the Axe effect, right? Women are just getting hotter. That's the Axe commercial. But yeah, I'm running through health real fast. Let's get this skull out. There we go. Oh, I thought that was ectoplasm, but it actually hurt me. Oh, and it dropped ectoplasm, so it's got a 2-stage fight to it. So I was going to dig a hole into one of these walls, and then I just kind of forgot to do that. What is that? What is that guy over there? There's so many things I don't know what they are yet. I can't get a good look. Blue armored bones. Okay, well, I can fly, and you can't, so that should help me out. And he didn't drop anything anyway. So I think that's going to be my technique when I'm stuck in a spot and I don't know what to do. Just go up in the air and hope that I can hit him a bunch before they can get any shots in on me. And they're going to drop a lot of money, which I'm kind of happy about. We're going to get plenty of extra so I can do reforges and such. And what's going on down here? Why is it so dark? Oh, I guess it's just dark. So this is where things get a little bit sticky sometimes. These guys that shoot through walls, they do quite a bit of damage. Oh, and it's dark now. Why? Oh, because of the wizard. Yep, I'm gonna die. Get me out. This is a bad place for me. I should not be here. I should power him down with that thing. And now all of a sudden I'm using a bad weapon. I don't want to use that for this. I really want to stick to this hatchet, but oh my god, there's so many dudes here. Alright, if I could just bottleneck them, that should be pretty nice. And we'll just get a whole bunch of ectoplasm from them, and then I think we'll be in a good position. Alright, so this is where, I guess, farming mode begins. Oh, as long as I don't just get eviscerated immediately. Oh, I was going to mention also, somebody... Did I even say this already? I feel like I started to say this and I trailed off. That somebody told me there were, like, 25 pets. And I had absolutely no idea there were that many pets. I figured there were, like, 10. And that I had a bunch of them already. Evidently, no. I have a long way to go yet on that. Alright, so what is my goal with digging a tunnel here? It's to... Oh, there's water. Okay, well, we've just flooded part of this. Didn't necessarily mean to do that. But the goal is to give myself a spot where I can stand, and I won't always be under fire by the dungeon creatures, and then maybe they will just keep spawning from this side, and I should be able to get them from my position of generally comfort and security. The only problem is going to be if they just stop showing up for some reason, which it seems like they might do. And also, now that I've flooded this tunnel, maybe they won't go through that way at all. So what am I going to wait for them to do? Just drop down from above? I'm betting they're not spawning because they're all stuck in a position that they can't come at me from. So I'm not really sure what to do with that information. Alright, well, there's some. Maybe I should just hang out in this big open room where I at least have freedom to move around. Somebody mentioned a couple of specific types of pets that I might want to get. Because I'm enjoying this shadow orb, but I might actually be able to get a secondary light source like a fairy that's going to help me out with being able to see in the dark even better. And there's also a little mushroomling that I can get from the shroom man that hangs out in my house. He seems pretty cool. I might want to get him and hang out with him. And I think there are even some other animal-oriented pets that I might be interested in. So I'm definitely going to keep my eyes open for them. Oh, we've got something dropped. I think that's the thing I've already had, though. Yeah, armor polish, I've had that. That was part of the thing to build the Ankh shield. And now I find that I keep finding random drops that are from, you know, the Ankh shield build, as if I hadn't gotten it already, and it's just like, they kind of have no purpose now that I have that accessory. So every time they drop, I guess it's just easy stuff to sell. And I am aware that's a thing, by the way. I don't know if I always mention it, but I do sell quite a bit now. And that's why I oftentimes end up with a bunch of extra money at the end of, or at the beginning of an episode, sometimes that I don't really mention or account for. It's usually from that. Okay. Can we get our hatchet back? There we go. Well, I feel like I was going to answer some questions, but now I feel like I kind of have to pay attention to the game a little bit too much, so maybe I'll save that for another time. I don't know, maybe I can still pull it off. Oh, but it's dark now, and I can't see, and it's scary. Okay, the wizards are not helping matters any, though. Can we calm down a little bit here? It's not even particularly frantic right now. I'm just, like, freaking out because I can't really see very well. Did you drop something? Adhesive bandage is another Ankh shield item. I guess that's the thing. They're all going to have those various things, because that's what they wanted me to be building when I came to this point, I suppose. You know, build your Uber accessory. And I left this shelf here, I guess, because I was possibly just leaving my safe on it, or my piggy bank or something. I don't know. Also, if we could get rid of these spikes, that would be terrific. The pick saw is probably going to be pretty helpful in this position, because it actually fends these guys off, because it swings really fast. Oh, somebody also mentioned that with the pick saw, I guess, I can grab the altar from the end of the lizard temple. Is that true? So, like, I can just move the fight with that guy to some other building? If that's true, then I guess that would save me a little bit of walking, not having to go to the temple and deal with those lizard guys that aren't probably going to drop anything good anyway. I mean, I know they have a chance to drop a battery, but it's like a real small chance, so I don't know that I necessarily care all that much. Alright, so I think this is not a bad spot, because a lot of these guys are just going to keep falling in this pit, and as long as they do that, that's fine. I can just, like, get them down there, and they can't really bother me too much. And we can just sit and pick up all the stuff at some point. Like, whenever they're all dead, probably. And then we'll just hope that we see that Paladin man spawn. And there's a little more ectoplasm. I think we've gotten, like, about 5 so far. A couple of sets of 2. And plenty more bones, which we don't really need very much. The bones were for making a boss item, as far as I remember, or possibly a piano, I think, also. Oh, this guy seems a little bit more dangerous than the other type of wizard. He didn't drop anything, though. Anyway, I think we can probably look at a question or two before we wrap up, because we still have about 10 minutes left. Oh, where are these lasers coming from? And also, these golden keys are not going to be very useful. Yes. Oh, what the hell? Sniper bullets. That's what those are. They're not lasers at all. There's a sniper guy right there with a helmet. Alright, well, I guess that's where I got that sniper thing from last time. Uh, Thankfully not really much of anything to worry about losing every time I jump back into things, so we'll just go back and try and recollect our money. I'm really happy for this possessed hatchet. It's really going to make things a lot easier for me until I find some really nice weapon. Like, again, maybe the Shadow Bolt or something. Also, let me know when is a good time that you think I should go farming for some of the key molds, because that's going to happen probably between an episode. I really don't see myself subjecting you guys to watching me farm for, I don't know how many hours it's going to take to make those things. Maybe I'll get really lucky and they'll drop kind of fast, and I do appreciate that I've apparently had some pretty good luck on some of my drops. But I don't have any illusions that it's going to be particularly easy or anything for me, unless there's some kind of item I can get to make drops happen more frequently, sort of a la Castlevania or something. But I'm not actually aware of any. But then again, I wasn't aware of that other thing that I just got before. Oh, okay, that was a lot of my health. I don't have a nurse here, so I should really be more careful when I'm jumping back into the dungeon. Anyway, let's take a question. So the first question today is from @flames5123. Have you ever become good friends with one of your fans? Well, first of all, I don't know, really calling people that watch me fans seems right. I don't really do anything that's worthy of being a fan over, but, the people that are viewers, people that I enjoy the company of course, yeah, I've definitely made friends with a few people. They know who they are. I'm not necessarily going to call them out here, but it's certainly possible it happens for various reasons. Some people we just end up bound to the same spot at the same time, and things just take their natural course, I suppose. Oh, more ectoplasm, that's good. So yeah, I mean, it certainly is possible, and I definitely like making friends through doing this. I'm not, like, trying to actively resist anything like that. It's just, certain people are easier to make friends with than others, that's all. Alright, how do I deal with this sniper man? Because he seems to be able to shoot me, like, through everything, and I'm trying to still move around a whole bunch, but it's not easy. Oh, there he is. Alright, hit him a bunch. If I hit him, maybe he's like the demons in hell, or the imps or whatever, and they don't shoot again for a moment, so that gives me a little bit of a chance to get a hit in or two. Oh, free ectoplasm. Oh, I left that dash thing on, didn't I? I forgot about that. That's probably not going to help me, so I should probably exchange that again. And before I forget, let's just do that right now. Cool that I got it, just not sure it's a thing that I'm necessarily going to use a whole bunch. And by the way, whoever said that this doesn't do anything, it does have +2 defense and increases jump height and allows me to double jump. So it's just better for flying. It lets me get better momentum when I'm starting out. And I've gotten used to the way that movement feels while using this, so I would feel kind of strange getting rid of it at this point. Not that I won't if I find a better viable alternative, but it's sort of become a staple of my play now. Second question by @BiggieWools. I know you're big into music, so what made you get into guitar/music overall? I've always been into music in some form or another, even when I was little, and my parents have always been involved in music in one way or another, too. My mom's always been working at a recording studio and things like that, so, I've always had some sort of a musician-type thing going on. Haven't always played any kind of music, but when I was in high school, I decided to start to learn bass, and I was in a band and all of that, so it just sort of took off from there. I really did mostly just play bass until after I had finished high school, and then I started to play electric guitar a little bit more than bass. But I definitely enjoy both of them. Oh, well, okay, that only hit me for one. So honestly, pretty simple explanation. I always was considering actually doing a career in music in some way or another, but it's just, I don't know, it's a tough way to make a living at this point, it seems. And, knowing people in the industry, it seems like, well, my efforts are probably better directed towards the thing that I'm the most passionate about. I probably wouldn't have the ability to see through the hard times, since it's like, it's a hobby more so than the thing that I love completely the most. I know that comes across sounding kind of harsh, but hopefully you know what I mean. But I actually was considering going to Berkeley for an engineering, audio engineering degree, consider maybe, working in a recording studio or something, but I changed my mind and ended up going to school for graphic design instead. Let's heal first of all. So there's a little bit of background into my musicality and past. I'm still not, a professional in any way. I don't consider myself a real musician, but I've spent a lot of hours playing guitar at this point, and I try to practice pretty much every day still. Although, you know, I have lapses in that, of course. I think most people do when they try to practice an instrument. And I'm not trying to learn to be proficient. I'm just trying to learn to basically play songs that I like and be good at them as well as I can. And perhaps get, you know, finger dexterity up and all of that stuff. Another question by @GentlemanFish. Left or right Twix? Left. Left Twix. Always. Always. The challenge, though, with the Twix is trying to get the peanut butter one. Because I think a lot of times, I don't know what this is about, but it seems like nobody even knows there are other types of Twix. There was like the cookies and cream one for a while, and a bunch of other varieties, various types of, you know, fillings and such. And I think people just know about the caramel one, and that one's just kind of boring. You know, I think the peanut butter one tastes so much better. It's just like rare to find, unfortunately. So I feel like the world is kind of a little bit of a sadder place when the peanut butter Twix is not readily available for purchasing. But, you know, the world isn't always that sad of a place. It's just, you know, for a moment or two in time. Anyway, there's a little bit more ectoplasm. Excellent. Let's go get my money back if I can. I love that these traps are only doing 1 damage to me each time. Where did I die, by the way? I've already forgotten. I can't really look at another question either because these dudes will sneak up on you every single time. I was just running around. Did I go down in that tunnel? Is that what got me? Looking for a gold pickup, and that'll probably tell me where I was. I got sniped, so it was probably something like that. And one of these times, I'm probably going to get a sweet drop and not even know about it for a while. Also, the patterns that I'm doing when I'm trying to avoid these guys are just really silly. Is this how you guys handle the dungeon? Do you usually, you know, bounce around in the sky for a while each time? Seems to be working fairly well, combined with this hatchet, of course. I've been hesitant to try and get in there and do too much melee, because it just feels like once I get into that, they're just going to pile on top. Is there any drops? Nope. Alright, the wizard spawned. Do I have money again? I have 6 gold, but that might have been enough time to already accumulate that 6 gold back. Did I get crazy and I started wandering off the beaten path here? Why would I do that? Oh, is this it? This is probably it, right? No, that's just more copper. Okay, another wizard. Whatever. Even if I lose a few gold, I don't really care all that much, because I've been generating gold pretty quickly, fighting, you know, the various bosses. Apparently the golem doesn't actually drop any money, which is a little bit lame, considering both an easy and a hard boss at the same time. If you try to fight him earnestly, he's a little bit frustrating at times, but if you try and fight him kind of cheesy the way I was in the last episode, which is how I have mostly been doing it, it doesn't feel so bad. Actually, pretty high degree of success. In fact, I don't think he's ever actually killed me. So that's good. Kind of enjoying that there's a boss that's like considered nearly endgame. I think it's actually like the final progression boss before you get to the summoning events. So, you know, I haven't really had hardly any trouble with him. The next question is @0FYZIX. Physix asks, how can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real? That is a very interesting question that hits upon the transience of life and existence, and perhaps something to do with solipsism, or, you know, the belief that nothing is actually real. Perhaps more philosophical than I necessarily want to get in right now, but I'm sure there's a topic for conversation in there. I think that's the kind of a better conversation to have when there's someone on the other end, instead of me just sort of going in random tangential directions with it. Let's look, is there one more? @CJax96 asks, did you fall for a lot of silly rumors as a kid? If so, any stories? Yeah, I actually was a very unskeptical child. I think I believed people all the time. I was pretty trusting, I suppose. I'm not sure I have necessarily any stories, though, about that particular time in my life that factored into things. Oh, there's a shadow chest or whatever. This is a corruption chest. I feel a little bad kind of dismissing the question without, like, a proper closing, but I think, yeah, I'm not really coming up with anything off the top of my head. I'm sure there's something, some example out there, but I have a pretty poor memory, and I think a lot of that stuff has kind of been moved on into, you know, more current stuff now. Alright, I think I've gotten everybody down there. Any drops still? Have I found anything else? No, just got the 12 ectoplasm and the hasty tabi, and I think that's about it. Yeah, some more golden keys, various armors and equipments that I'm not really going to need, these cosmetic mummy pieces. So, yeah, farming is really what we're doing, for real. There's no illusions about that. These red wizards are certainly pretty imposing. And they start casting, and they go pretty quick, and they make things dark, and I kind of don't like that. I thought, having built that Ankh Shield, that I was going to be out of the realm of darkness, because that's kind of a status affliction, isn't it? You know, that dark whatever it is, and it seems to still get me anyway, but maybe it's a different type of status effect that doesn't quite work the same way. I don't know. Nothing there. Still got candy canes, and I made sure to stockpile up on, you know, extra stuff for when the frost event ends or the winter events end. Not that I necessarily believe that I'm going to be getting a whole lot from them, but, you know, just in case. Oh, what is going on over there? What is that wizard doing? That is terrifying. Can we kill him? Because maybe I can have that. I would like that very much. Yeah, no. Apparently I cannot. But I would like to have that, whatever that ability is. Don't really know anywhere safe to... I guess I could just sit here for a second. I just wanted to double check in case I got any more drops and just sort of missed them. Can we get maybe another question in here? Let's have a look. My question is, can I get an anime-style Yaha? That's from, at Mojave Music. Probably not here. I think people would get upset at me. And that, I think, was the last, like, legit question. I think from there things started to spiral out of control. If you can ask the Dalai Lama one question, what would it be? I don't really have much to say to the Dalai Lama, to be perfectly honest. I don't really know what I would say. Oh, he came back again. The magician came back the very next minute. The magician came back. He had a lot of lasers, but the magician came back. Oh, and he didn't drop anything at all. Okay, well, that was my song. Yeah, nothing dropped there. Or ectoplasm, though. That's always good. Really just looks like a blue brainstem or like a... maybe a light bulb or something. These guys seem to have a higher chance of dropping that, so that's good. Also, I want to get rid of these stupid spikes here, because they've caused me enough damage at this point. And I seem to keep landing in them for whatever reason. I like knowing that I'm going to be in the same spot a bunch, because this is, I don't know, it's a pretty easy to find place again in case I die. And then I don't have to necessarily worry about losing my money again. Oh, he hit me. Alright, he keeps coming back, so I'm kind of thinking maybe... is he trying to tell me something? Is this his way of saying you're going to hopefully unlock this bolt, whatever that is? No, he gave me a stupid key, though, that I didn't need. Pretty sure I've opened all the chests in here, so that's pretty useless at this point. So as we're kind of coming to a bit of a close now on this episode, I'm starting to wonder what would be the best use of our time going forward from here. Good chance that I'm going to probably make another episode before I get to see the comments of this, and this is kind of an unfortunate side effect of the fact that it's almost January, and I'm going to need to have a bit of a backlog of at least 2 or 3 days. Now that monetization is not instant anymore, it's going to make making daily content a lot more difficult. So, essentially what I'm going to have to do is have kind of a game plan, and I can't have this direct, like, one-on-one dialogue with you guys because, like I said, it takes 2 or 3 days before I can get a video approved to go up. So if I was to wait for those comments, then obviously I can't have it be daily anymore. I hope that makes sense. But basically, look at it this way. Whatever I upload, I have to wait at most 2 to 3 days before I can post it. So that means if I'm going to have things daily, I have to have things up way ahead of time. I know I've sort of explained this in 3 different ways now, but I just kind of hope it's making sense, because it is kind of important to get. And I do want to continue to maintain having this be daily as possible, but I can't necessarily guarantee... oh, we just got a rocket launcher, that's cool. But I can't necessarily guarantee that if they're going to give me trouble that I'll be able to necessarily do that. We got a Clother voodoo doll. I don't know what that necessarily will do. I think I might have had that already, though. Does that summon Skeletron or something if you drop it in lava? I don't know. Could be. Right, anyway, the reason that I was saying that is that even though I'm asking you guys for suggestions and everything, I also kind of have to make my own educated guess as to what I think you guys are going to say. So I am still reading all the comments and will continue to read all the comments, even, you know, past January, of course. But I just want you to have that in your head so you understand my side of the story, because it is kind of a factor for me. So, what I'm thinking right now, depending on where things go, if I don't get any good drops, like, I mean, I've gotten a rocket launcher, but I didn't really think that was going to be the make or break item I needed. I got another Tabi, too. If I don't get another good drop in a fairly reasonable amount of time, maybe like one more episode of farming, then I'll probably do some of that off camera. And if things are still a problem and things don't escalate on their own, maybe I will start that other world and we'll just wander around for a while and see what we can find. And just see if there's any other items that we might be in need of, or stuff to craft, or, you know, we could always grind some more Planteraphytes or whatever. But anyway, continue to leave your suggestions. Like I said, we still got a few more days. Although by the time this goes up, since I'm recording pretty well in advance now, I'm already trying to have a backlog if I can. But let me know what you think about that situation. What do you want me to do in terms of the backlog thing about posting daily? And hopefully you guys can stick with me if I can't post daily, that you'll still support the series as much as you have been, because I have to say this has been one of my most successful Let's Plays, and that means the world to me. And I mean, Rogue Legacy was before this, but I think this one actually might be doing a little bit better at this point. And I actually might be recording a little bit more Rogue Legacy pretty soon, because there was a little bit of new content that I wanted to delve into that they just had recently added. Got another sniper here who could be a bit of a deadly man. Oh, he didn't drop anything either. Apparently drop rates not fantastic here. It's a little bit unfortunate, but I do have quite a bit of ectoplasm now, so that should help out things a little bit. Kind of hoping by this stage in the game we might be running into like gold drops occasionally, but I think probably only the big bosses are going to have stuff like that. I've run into some like higher class difficult enemies that have had drops of straight up gold. I think probably mimics do, right? I think mimics usually have 2 gold or something on them each time. You know, I'm starting to feel like I'm relatively proficient at this game now. I've got a good handle on the majority of the things that there are to do. I would say we're roughly 85% through the game, right? I think that seems close enough to say. We've seen the majority of what's, you know, held within, but I'm still excited to see that there's a little bit more left that we haven't quite gotten to as well. So I think with that, we will wrap up the episode for today. Thank you, everybody, for participating that submitted their questions on Twitter. I just do this randomly in case you're not paying attention. If you guys want to follow me and you don't already, feel free to. My Twitter is @Rockleesmile, and you can find that, of course, on my YouTube channel page as well if you want a direct link. Or maybe I'll just put it in the description for this one if I remember. You know, I have a bunch of episodes ahead, so sometimes I get distracted and confused about what I said in what episode. So if I forget, hopefully no harm done. But yeah, feel free to follow me, and sometimes I'll just ask, you know, that people submit questions, and then if that's the case, I will mention you, and then you can be in the video. So simple as that. But that is it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. As always, continue to leave your support if you're still enjoying what we're doing here. And, of course, continue to leave your suggestions for future episodes. And, well, I kind of went over that in great detail. So that will be it, guys. Let's see if the sniper drops anything, and then we will... Nope, looks like he didn't. But I will talk to you next time, and I hope you have a terrific night. Later.